Jan and I saw Made Smarter innovation kind of happening, and we were excited about manufacturing. We were excited about the digital transformation of manufacturing. But I think we both believe that investing in technology, it wasn't enough just to invest in technology. We really needed to kind of mobilise the social sciences to get people involved and think about how are people going to be involved in the digital transformation. So I think the two of us it was a perfect fit for what we were interested in. Okay, so I lead the future of manufacturing work part of InterAct. So I've had a team of researchers looking at what does the future hold in workplaces. And I think I'm a believer that technology is going to help us to become more competitive, to be more resilient, to be more sustainable, and I think to give people better jobs and be happier. Yes, I think there's aspects of technology that worries us, where there's all this talk of AI and are robots going to kind of take our jobs and so on. And I'm not denying that there are worries there, but I think it's out there, isn't it? Technology is out there. So I think we really need to harness it and make the most of it just now. So I think it does offer us an opportunity to give people better jobs, let them do the things that interest them, take the hard jobs away. So again, I think it helps us be more inclusive. So people with disabilities, people could work longer if they've got technology that can help them do some of the hard manual jobs that perhaps become more difficult for them. I think one of the things we've found in our research is the manufacturers who have been adopting digital technologies, they tend to tell us that they're getting benefits. So they're getting productivity benefits short term. But where we're hearing that we're missing maybe an opportunity is technology can do so much more to increase collaboration, to increase innovation, really to kind of make a difference to a bigger step change in working practices. So for us, that kind of research tells us that companies, they're getting the short-term stuff, but they're really not getting the full benefit. So we're trying to work with organisations to get them to think about how do we design the technology into our organisations? How do we perhaps start by asking, what kind of jobs do we want to create? And then using technology to enable that, rather than just saying we'll take technology off the shelf and plonk it in our business. So I think there's a really important role for social science in this space. There's been a lot of attention to the technology side. A lot of funding has come from the UK government and Made Smarter Innovation. A lot of the funding has been on the technology. So talk of augmented reality and robotics and AI, all these things, which is great. But you really do have to think about the people, because without the people, the technology is not going to deliver the things that it promises. So whether that be training, whether it be thinking about how we make people excited about this type of opportunity and change, there's lots of ways that social science can help. So InterAct's been a fantastic community. It is a network. That's what we set out to do, is to kind of get new voices into this kind of space of digital transformation in manufacturing. And I think we've been really successful at that. We've brought lots of new people in from different disciplines, from business, psychology, history, economics. And for me, that's really, really powerful. And I think what we're doing is working together, working with industry, working with the technologists, is that melting pot that's going to make a big difference. InterAct's brought them together, various mechanisms. I mean, we've had lots of events. We've also had funding opportunities. We've run sandpits. We've engaged with industry, and we've had industry-led type problem-solving activities. And one of the things that we've done that's made an impact instantly has been we've had actionable insights calls. And that's where we've been saying to researchers, you've maybe got research you've already done. And rather than just publish it in journals and to other academics reading it, why don't you think about how you could repackage that and make it useful for either industry or policymakers? And InterAct has had small amounts of money to help people do that. So one of the things that InterAct did was we ran a number of missions overseas. So we had teams who went out and visited Singapore, America, India, Malaysia, Australia and Sri Lanka. And that was amazing experiences. But we always thought that was important to do because you can't just be insular. Manufacturing is an international thing. So for us, just being looking at the UK, we were going to miss what's happening in other places. So for me, it was interesting because we saw the attitudes to digital technology in other places. We saw the mechanisms that governments were using. And we saw what companies were doing as well and what networks were doing in other countries. So the countries that I visited Singapore and Australia on missions. And I've come back with quite a few ideas of thinking, actually, we could do this in the UK in a different manner. Oh, right. So this was a Network Plus. I think Network Pluses are fantastic mechanisms. They're where we build this network of people. Again, it's bringing new voices. Jan and I did it. There was two of us. When they put out the call, they said they were looking for a director of this Network Plus, but they said it could be two people. And having two people's worked really well for us because it's given us that kind of, we can't be at two places at once if you're just one person, but when there's two people, so I think we've done a lot more than we ever thought we would. And it's also very nice to have two people, I think, supporting each other. And we've got a great team. We've had a great team working with us. We've had a communications person, we've had an impact person and a project manager. And that really is needed to get it going. Don't think you can do these Network Pluses just as an academic with a day job and a few hours to spare. It doesn't work that way. The InterAct network was all about creating a network, bringing new voices into this kind of space of digital transformation in manufacturing. And what we set out to do was bring new voices, particularly from the social sciences, together. And that was all about creating this vision of the future. What kind of future manufacturing do we want to achieve? And we were trying to have impacts in terms of productivity. We were looking at how do we become more resilient. We were looking at how we become more sustainable and how we have people involved and people with good quality jobs. And that was what we were trying to do. And hopefully, I think we've gone some way to doing that. Well, I mean, it's great bringing everybody together. I think energy in the room. I mean, after 4 years, there's still a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And I think, whilst Interact's funding's coming to an end, the network is still it's just on it's just starting. There's a lot still to come there. Oh, we're very proud of what we've achieved. Yeah, very proud. Yeah, and I think we're still very engaged. So Jan and I always thought our vision was we'd be a success if it could carry on without us. We don't want it to carry on without us. We want to be involved. But yes, it will. It doesn't need us now. There's the community there.